frozen giants, living fossils, and faces carved by time itself.
These mountain faces bear a striking resemblance to what we might consider to be giants.
We have to ask ourselves who these 7-8 foot giants were.
Is walking into Peru Mountain.
Nature's oldest guardians hold secrets beyond our wildest dreams. Trees, mountains, and rivers, silent witnesses to history's greatest mysteries.
Big creatures in our ancestors' world, which we no longer are aware of.
Join us to watch some of the most shocking discoveries that have left scientists and explorers speechless.
This is Temnodontosaurus, one of the biggest of the sea dragons so far discovered.
Petrified Horse.
Poi l'altra volta pure mi era venuto, poi me l'era appuntato, me lo sono andata a rivedere.
Archaeologists in an old villa near the ancient city of Pompeii found the remains of a horse frozen in time. This wasn't just any horse. It was still wearing its harness and saddle when it was buried in back eras. It's like the horse was waiting for its rider when disaster struck. The volcano eruption that destroyed Pompeii turned this poor animal into stone, preserving it for thousands of years. Scientists are thrilled about this find. The horse's harness and saddle are especially exciting as they show how people used horses back then.
La briglia, la mascella, eccola qui.
Sea dragon. Scientists in Germany found the fossils of a dragon. It was a Temnodontosaurus that lived 200 million years ago. At a museum in Stuttgart, researchers looked closely at these ancient bones.
This is Temnodontosaurus, one of the biggest of the sea dragons so far discovered.
They found something surprising in the Temnodontosaurus's tummy, tiny bones from baby sea dragons. This proved that this giant creature hunted and ate smaller sea animals. The Temnodontosaurus was a fierce hunter. It had super sharp teeth like knives and huge eyes that could see in the dark ocean depths.
It also had rows of sharp teeth.
Scientists think it might have even eaten other big sea creatures. This discovery helps us understand more about life in the ancient seas. Petrified giants. Giant face in the mountain? Nature's amazing trick. Have you ever looked at clouds and seen funny shapes? Well, some mountains play the same game. People have spotted huge faces in rocks all over the world.
These mountain faces bear a striking resemblance to what we might consider to be giants.
These faces look so real, it's hard to believe they're just nature's artwork. Long ago, people thought these rock faces were very special. They used them to find their way around, and even worshipped them. Some folks believed these faces were their frozen ancestors watching over them. Scientists have a fancy name for these rocky faces, memetoliths. Even though we now know they're just rocks shaped by wind and rain, but isn't cool to look at. Next time you're out on a hike, you might spot a mountain smiling back at you. Peru Mountain.
Hola.
Anda lì, yeah. Anda lì, yeah.
Mountain or monster? A tourist guide in Peru spotted something that's making everyone look twice. At first glance, it's just another mountain, but look closer. A giant face appears in the rock. Is it an ancient carving left by a lost civilization, or did nature play a trick on us, sculpting a perfect face by chance? Locals are split.
Is walking into Peru Mountain.
Some say it's always been there, others swear it appeared overnight. Either way, this stone giant has put their little town on the world map.
Hola.
Anda lì, yeah. Anda lì, yeah.
Crocodile Mummies. In the sandy lands of Egypt, a team of archaeologists and locals were digging in a place called Kubat al-Hawa when they found something very special. You must have seen graves with people, but not with crocodiles. As they carefully brushed away the sand, they uncovered not one, but many crocodiles. These weren't living crocodiles, but very old mummified ones. Just like the Egyptians made mummies of people, they also mummified these crocodiles. Shocking part, they date back nearly 2,000 years. You may, however, trace them all the way back to the period of our great-great-great-grandparents. The discovery helps us learn more about how ancient Egyptians thought about animals and took care of them after they were no more. Giant Footstep. Imagine walking along a river searching for dinosaur tracks when you spot a mark that stops you in your tracks. That's exactly what happened to a tourist at the San Gabriel River in Texas. Near the dinosaur footprints, he found an enormous shape in the rock that looked just like a human foot. It was so big that the tourist's foot seemed tiny next to it. He could see the outlines of toes, including a big toe and a pinky.
The pinky toe, whatever the toe that is, and 2 more toes and a big toe.
Was this the footprint of an ancient giant? The tourist even noticed another large print nearby. This amazing discovery makes us wonder who or what might have walked alongside dinosaurs in Texas long ago. Horrific skull.
I found a skull, or a bone, or something of some sort right here in the bed of the river.
Forest explorers find mystery skull, but it's not what you think. A team of adventurers made while hiking in the Pacific Northwest found what looked like a huge skull buried in muddy water. At first, they thought it might be from a bear.
It is definitely a bear skull. Holy mackerel.
But when they looked closer, they realized it was something much stranger. The skull looked like it came from a big primate.
Yeah, that's not a bear, that's a primate.
But not a human or any known animal. For a moment, the team wondered if they had found proof of the legendary Bigfoot. They even saw what looked like a bullet hole in the skull.
Yeah, that's a skull, right?
Bigfoot traces.
As president of the Bigfoot community, I think the truth is very important. It is.
Have you ever wondered if Bigfoot is more than just a legend? A president of the Bigfoot community says he has proof. Here is the evidence. The skull was displayed on the table, and it had white teeth just like us. He presents what he calls a real Bigfoot head. It's not just evidence of it, he says, but proof of a government cover-up and alien visitation. The head, allegedly made of bone, has eyes he insists aren't hollow.
Eyes are not hollow. They aren't. Does that look hollow to you?
This Bigfoot enthusiast believes these creatures are alien biological recording devices. He claims the head has mystical powers.
It's bone.
Some see the future in its eyes, others only the past. Skeptics, he warns, might miss out on a cosmic journey.
So obviously real.
Ice Age giant.
Still quite large.
A Florida middle school teacher made a splash in the world of paleontology. Henry Sadler was diving in a river when he stumbled upon a truly mammoth discovery, the leg bone of an ancient Columbian mammoth. This wasn't just any old bone, but humerus, or upper arm bone, from one of the biggest animals that roamed North America during the Ice Age. The bone was so heavy that Sadler needed help to lift it out of the water. He plans to use this incredible find as a teaching tool in his classroom. Now his students can get up close with a real piece of prehistory.
Something in this condition, in this size, is pretty awesome.
Nature's turtle.
You can just tell it's huge.
In the mountains of Peru, a secret was hiding for a very long time. A traveler found it while walking. A huge rock that looked just like a turtle. This wasn't a small rock.
Do you see this? It's freaking nature!
It was so big that it made everything around it look tiny. You could see a round back like a shell, a head shape, and even parts that looked like legs underneath. The rock was rough and old-looking, as if it had been there for many years. This big turtle rock is a special find. It shows that nature can make shapes that look like animals. The mountains of Peru have many secrets, and this is just one of them.
To decide if you think it's truly a gigantic petrified turtle.
Wooden hand.
It's a hand wrapped around that rock.
In a forest, a hiker came across a petrified giant's hand. At first, only massive fingers were visible, protruding from the soil like ancient tree roots. But as he investigated further, he realized this was no ordinary find. The traveler describes the hand as incredibly hard.
And those are solid.
Almost wooden in texture, yet unmistakably shaped like human fingers, only enormously oversized. Could this be evidence of long-lost giant humanoids that once roamed the earth? Or is it an incredibly lifelike natural formation sculpted by time and the elements? This colossal hand remains half-buried, waiting for experts to reveal its secrets. The forest keeps its mysteries close, but this discovery might just be the tip of the finger.
It's a hand wrapped around that rock.
Ancient Egypt. While digging at the Palace of Ancient Avaris in 2011, archaeologists discovered 16 huge human hands, estimated to be more than 3,600 years old. All these hands were buried in 4 different pits. These hands were so big that some people wondered if they belonged to a race of giant people we don't know about. But why were these giant hands buried? The archaeologists believe it might be part of an old Egyptian custom. This amazing discovery makes us rethink what we know about ancient Egypt. Giant push-ups. A scary video is making people in a small village very afraid. A local person filmed something strange on a nearby mountain. A super tall, thin giant doing push-ups. The video shows this huge figure moving in an unnatural way. Now, everyone in the village is scared of going near the mountain. Some think it might be a monster, while others wonder if it's a slender man. The village hasn't been this excited or frightened in years. Bigfoot. Big news from a mountain town in Mexico. People say they've seen a giant Bigfoot. The whole town is in a panic after several locals reported seeing a huge, hairy creature walking in the mountains. The town, usually quiet, is now buzzing with excitement and fear. Some locals are too scared to go into the mountains, while others are organizing search parties to find more evidence. Either way, this sighting has put this small Mexican mountain town on the map, and everyone's wondering if they'll catch another glimpse of the mysterious giant. Dinosaur in Alberta. Workers found something incredible in a mine near Fort McMurray, Canada. It wasn't an oil, but a real dinosaur. This wasn't just any dinosaur you can name, but one of the best-kept dinosaur fossils ever found. Here is the twist. It was a huge nodosaur about 18 feet long and weighed 3,000 pounds. This plant eater lived 112 million years ago, making it the oldest dinosaur found in Alberta. Scientists think its belly might even have bits of its last meal. Now, this rock star dinosaur is on show at the Royal Tyrrell Museum in Alberta. So, whenever you visit Alberta, have a visit to this discovery. Time machine.
To a moment before man existed and dinosaurs roamed the earth.
The hot weather made the river Paluxy dry up, but it was a win-win situation for paleontologists. As the water went away, it showed a secret hidden for millions of years to them: real dinosaur footprints. These weren't just any footprints. They belonged to a big meat-eating dinosaur, Acrocanthosaurus. It left 60 big footprints, each one as big as a dinner plate. The footprints are super old, about 110 to 113 million years old. Back then, Texas was covered by a shallow sea.
10 to 113 million years ago, when this was a shallow inland sea.
The dinosaur walked through sticky mud, leaving perfect prints. Scientists can even see the shape of its toes. This is the longest line of dinosaur tracks ever found in this park. It's like the dinosaur left us a message from long ago. But here is the concern. When rain comes, the river will fill up again, and the footprints will hide underwater once more.
And the detail is astonishing.
Footprints.
We immediately knew that this was a pretty big deal.
In Tanzania, another mystery was waiting to be found. People discovered footprints that were made thousands of years ago by our prehistoric ancestors. These weren't just a few footprints. There were 408 of them, covering an area as big as a tennis court. You could see big footprints and small footprints, as if 17 people had walked there together. The volcanic ash had kept these footprints safe for thousands of years. This big group of footprints is an amazing discovery. It shows us how our ancestors moved and lived long ago. The lands of Tanzania have many stories to tell, and this is the largest fossil footprint site ever found on the African continent.
I mean, what has to happen in order for these footprints to be preserved?
Giant army. Have you ever dug in your backyard and found a whole army? Well, in 1974, some Chinese farmers did. They were just trying to dig a well when they came across thousands of clay soldiers. These weren't just any clay figures, but they were life-sized warriors, each one looking different from the others. Scientists found out these soldiers were made over 2,200 years ago for China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang. He wanted an army to protect him even after he died. This discovery was so important event that it changed the little village forever. Now, people from all over the world come to see these ancient clay warriors. It's like finding a hidden treasure from long, long ago. Giant turtle. A giant secret was hiding underground for millions of years in Venezuela. Scientists found it while digging. A huge turtle fossil bigger than any turtle alive today. This wasn't a small fossil. The shell alone was 2.40 meters long, making everything around it look tiny. You could see a round back like a shell, and even a strange horn-like part on top. The fossil was rough and old-looking, as if it had been there for 11.63 million years. This big turtle fossil is a special find. It shows that turtles long ago could be much bigger than now. The lands of Venezuela have many secrets, and this Stupendimes geographicus is just one of them. Ocean in desert.
Unearthed a 100-million-year-old dinosaur fossil in WA.
Scientists in western Queensland struck paleontological gold. They unearthed a 100-million-year-old Elasmosaurus fossil perfectly preserved in the dusty outback. This was the world's first fully intact Elasmosaurus ever found. The ancient marine reptile's head is still attached to its body. Even more exciting, the fossil appears to be from a young Elasmosaurus. This discovery offers a rare glimpse into how these creatures grew and developed. Where camels and kangaroos roam today, prehistoric sea creatures once ruled. The precious find is now at the Museum of Tropical Queensland.
See 100 million years ago.
Hairy creature.
This like chapping around the eyes, and the lips look extremely chapped.
You must have seen a snowman, but not a freezy Bigfoot. Well, here it is. A Bigfoot tracker in the forests near San Antonio, Texas made an exciting discovery. He found what he thinks is a real Bigfoot. The tracker showed photos of a giant, hairy creature. It was huge, about 8 feet tall and 800 pounds. The creature had a face with lips and was covered in brown fur. It looked different from other animals we know. The tracker even said he saw it eating in the woods before he found it. This discovery is a big deal because people have been looking for Bigfoot for a long time. In Texas, there have been stories about wild forest creatures since the 1800s. Now, with these new photos, people are excited to learn more about this mysterious forest giant.
Red flags going up around Rick's claims almost immediately.
Giant skeleton. In a hidden cave, a tourist found something amazing. A huge skeleton that's got everyone talking. The big skull and long bones make people think there might have been giants long ago. Scientists are rushing to study it, wondering if this could change what we know about where humans came from. People in the area have old stories about giant tribes, but no one ever found proof before. Now, both scientists and tourists are coming to see the bones. This big find might change how we think about human history. Bigfoot Reality.
If that creature was coming at you, you would do the same thing.
Have you ever wondered if Bigfoot is real? A group of friends say they found one. Here is the proof. In a secret underground room in New York, a man claims he has a frozen Bigfoot. He says it was found on September 23rd, 1953 by his ancestors.
When my father shot the Bigfoot, September 23rd, 1953.
The creature looks like a big, hairy human. It has huge hands and 5 toes and weighs more than 300 pounds. His parents caught this young one, which they named Jimmy after it ran away scared. At first, they wanted to take Jimmy to a zoo, but when the creature woke up and got upset, they had to calm it down. Now Jimmy the Bigfoot has been frozen for over 70 years, and it has been under the care of young boys, following the caring legacy towards the young Bigfoot.
Clearly, as a male, you can see.
Strange dog. At Southern Forest World, an environmental museum showcasing the forestry industry's history, lies an unexpected star, Stucky, a mummified dog. Found in a hollow tree in the late 1970s.
We found him near the Georgia-Alabama line. We got him in like 78.
This 4-year-old hound dog became trapped while chasing prey and couldn't escape. Remarkably, Stucky's body was preserved due to the tree's unique conditions. The chimney effect in the hollow oak created an updraft, carrying away scents that would have attracted decomposing organisms. The tree's dryness and tannic acid further aided in mummifying the poor pup. Now, Stucky serves as the museum's main attraction, drawing curious visitors to marvel at this accidental piece of natural history. Old surprise. Adventurers found the skeleton of a prehistoric crocodile that lived almost 130 million years ago in the Tunisian dunes. Well, that is really a lot of years. This extinct creature was quite enormous. It was taller than many humans, with a head alone measuring over 5 feet in length. But this discovery's age was what caught the attention the most. Scientists thought all of these huge crocs had died out millions of years earlier. This discovery proves that these amazing creatures survived much longer than anyone thought. It's like finding a living dinosaur today. The team's incredible find helps us understand more about how life on Earth changed over millions of years. Greece finding. Just think hiking through the beautiful canyons of Greece and suddenly seeing a giant face staring at you from the rocks. That's exactly what happened to some lucky explorers in Medora. They came across an enormous skull trapped between 2 canyon walls. Hikers took pictures and videos, zooming in and out, trying to make sense of what they were seeing. No matter how they looked at it, the rocky formation kept its face shape. Now everyone's wondering, is this just a trick of nature, or could it be evidence of ancient giants? Well, this spooky discovery has got people's imaginations running wild. Baby unicorn.
Unidentified remains.
In an old house belonging to a Dr. Zeke, scientists found something unbelievable, what looks like a baby unicorn mummy. It was hidden away in a wooden box with a glass lid. The tiny creature is only about 11 inches long and 6 inches wide. It has spiral horns coming out of its head and nose. The team was surprised to see its white teeth still intact. This strange find happened on September 1st, 2007. The researchers took lots of pictures and videos of the unicorn-like mummy. They're calling it Item Z793A for now. The team is taking the mummy to their lab to study it more. Maybe this little creature will change what we know about mythical animals.
Unidentified remains.
Giant finger mystery. In 1988, a Swiss archaeologist in Egypt paid $300 to see a grave robber's collection and found something unbelievable, a huge mummified finger. The finger was 16 inches long, wrapped in old rags, and smelled musty. Spory thought it might have belonged to a person who was over 16 feet tall. He took photos of the finger next to a bill to show how big it was. Some people wondered if the finger came from a giant prehistoric ape, but when Spory went back to Egypt in 2009 to learn more, the finger and the man who showed it to him were gone. This giant finger remains a mystery, making us wonder about the secrets of ancient Egypt. Ancient tree. A tree so old, it saw dinosaurs roam the earth. Well, almost. In Portland, Oregon, an arborist found a giant rock, but it's actually a super old tree stump. It's a whopping 5 million years old petrified giant sequoia. The tree was found near the World Forestry Center, where people go to learn about forests. Long ago, a big landslide buried the tree, keeping air away from it. Over millions of years, minerals seeped into the wood, turning it into stone. Now it looks white and shiny, almost like the famous Devil's Tower in Wyoming. This ancient tree gives us a peek into a world from long, long ago. Ancient croc. In Australia, a big storm uncovered something that proves sometimes reality is wilder than fiction. A giant fossilized saltwater crocodile. It was almost 50 feet long. Scientists say this ancient beast was one of the most dangerous and aggressive crocodiles ever. To give you an idea of how big this croc was, think about Cassius, the biggest crocodile alive today. He's 18 feet long and already super scary. Now, imagine a croc almost 3 times that size. This prehistoric monster was so huge, it could have easily swallowed a great white shark whole. Now that's one big, toothy terror from the past. Bigfoot Hand.
When my father shot the Bigfoot in 1953,
a man claims he has a real Bigfoot hand that his father got in 1953. He says it's from a young Bigfoot and keeps it frozen. The hand looks big and has fingernails like a human's. The strange thing is, he says the hand is magnetic.
and when my father talked about this, it didn't make any sense, so...
In a video, he shows the hand sticking to metal objects like a shovel and a knife.
That the Bigfoot is an alien to this planet.
He believes this proves Bigfoot might be an alien, because no other animal on Earth can do this. The man, who calls himself the president of the Bigfoot community, thinks this is proof that aliens have been visiting Earth. While his claims are very unusual, he insists everything he's showing is real.
Coming to this planet, they've been coming here for a long time.
Snake Rock. Snake Rock in Thailand has locals and tourists alike spellbound. This massive stone formation, discovered in 2021, looks eerily like a coiled cobra. Standing 50 feet tall in the northern jungles, it's become a hotspot for curious visitors. Local legends claim it's a petrified serpent god, turned to stone to protect the land. Shamans warn of a curse befalling those who disrespect the rock. Mysterious disappearances and strange ailments are blamed on its power. At night, some swear they hear hissing from the stone. Offerings of fruit and incense surround its base as people seek to appease the slumbering spirit. Snake Rock continues to captivate imaginations. Forest mystery.
The environment of a river or old land surface of the Jurassic.
Time travel is real in New Zealand. Between Dunedin and Invercargill, there's a magical 175-million-year-old forest turned to stone, touch tree stumps older than dinosaurs, and see ancient wood grain frozen in rock. It's Mother Nature's own museum. Long ago, when New Zealand was part of Gondwanaland with Australia and Antarctica, disaster struck this forest. Floods or volcanic ash buried the trees, slowly turning them to rock over millions of years.
Volcanic ash shower or a flood killed the trees.
Interesting thing. Now, you can walk where prehistoric figures once roamed. You have your own real-life Jurassic Park, but without the scary dinosaurs. Bison Find.
I like finding pieces of petrified wood, that's my thing.
Two friends were searching for old bottles along the dried banks of the Missouri River when they came across a massive bison skull, possibly over 3,000 years old. What they first thought was driftwood turned out to be a prehistoric fossil. Experts believe it could belong to an extinct bison species, preserved by the river's erosion. The skull spans 30 inches and weighs around 15 pounds, making it a rare find even in Missouri, where bison fossils are common. The pair now hope to sell their treasure, which might hold clues to ancient history. Ice Age baby. Miners were finding gold, but found a prehistoric treasure. That's what happened in Canada's Yukon. Miners looking for shiny gold nuggets found something even more special, a baby woolly mammoth. This wasn't just any mammoth. It was frozen solid for over 30,000 years. The baby girl mammoth looked almost perfect, as if she had just fallen asleep. Scientists are super excited and named her Nunchoga. This discovery will help us learn so much about the giant, hairy elephant that lived during the Ice Age. Cave climber. Deep in a dark cave, a speleologist's camera caught something strange. The footage showed a pale figure moving in an unusual way. This creature climbed on the cave ceiling without any ropes or safety gear. The ghostly shape moved across the rocky surface. Its movements looked like impossible exercises high above the ground. The pale climber's actions were unlike anything seen in normal cave explorations. This mysterious ceiling crawler added a new chapter to tales of strange underground discoveries. Missing body part. A group of friends exploring some old ruins found something really weird. They saw a stone statue of a man without a head, but the statue was wearing a shoe. It looked like the statue was searching for something. Maybe it's missing a head. Then, in another part of the ruins, they found a broken wall with a face carved into it. The face had one big eye on its forehead. It was like the wall was watching them. The friends were amazed and a little scared by these strange discoveries. They wondered if there was some secret story behind the headless statue and the watching wall. Jungle secret. An animal photographer made his way to the jungle. He wasn't ready for this. A body of a massive anaconda. This anaconda was so huge, it looked like it could have swallowed a person whole. Its scales glimmered under the patchy sunlight peeking through the leaves. Knowing how important these creatures are to the jungle's balance, the photographer quickly packed up and left. He understood it was best to let nature take its course. Spooky shadow. In a village, an old house held a secret that made everyone terrified. A group of curious locals decided to peek inside, not knowing what they'd find. As they moved towards the home, they saw something that made them gasp. In a corner sat a strange shadow with no body. It had sparkly pink eyes and 2 horns on its head. The shadow looked like a baby, sitting there as if it wanted to speak. Feeling scared and confused, the group backed away slowly. They left the mysterious shadow behind in its abandoned home. Cave creatures. Hidden in the caves of northern Chile, a secret waited to be discovered. Local people whispered about a strange being living there, creature that could change their shape. This cave dweller wasn't an ordinary animal. He could turn into a dog to search for food on nearby beaches, but in its caves, it showed its true form, like big goat with backward horns and sharp claws. It had pointy teeth and glowing, colorful eyes. For sure it was a skinwalker. Why hadn't anyone seen it before? The caves were in a faraway place where few people went. This spooky story made everyone wonder, could shape-shifting aliens really be hiding in Chile's caves? So you better be careful next time visiting some abandoned caves. The Cave Lady. An explorer on his way to explore some ruins spotted a real-life cave woman. For a moment, he wondered if he'd discovered a long-lost tribe of cave people. But as he got closer, he realized nature had played a fantastic trick. The Cave Lady was actually a rock formation that looked amazingly like a human face. It just goes to show that sometimes the most exciting discoveries are the ones Mother Nature creates herself. Giant with soldiers. This old footage from Imperial Japan has everyone talking about giants. In the video, you can see a military parade with a surprise participant, someone much, much taller than all the soldiers. This giant person is said to be the last member of a tribe called Cha-Cha, who lived on an island named Hahashima. While it's fun to imagine real giants, we should remember that old videos can sometimes be tricky, but stories of giants have been around for thousands of years. This mysterious clip adds an exciting new chapter to those age-old tales. It's time for today's open discussion. In Iran, people found something that looks like a huge stone hand. It's so big that it makes normal hands look tiny. This giant hand is as long as a person is tall. The hand looks very real, with fingers and even fingernails. Some people think this might be the hand of a Nephilim and was turned to rock a long, long time ago. No one knows for sure where this hand came from or how it got so big. But it's fun to imagine a world where giants once lived, leaving behind stone clues for us to find. It's like a real-life fairy tale hidden in the rocks of Iran.